Thank you, DJ, for the introduction and covering the short and long-term effects of female genital mutilation. Hello, class. My name is Ananda Cook, and I'm going to be presenting on the psychological and psychosocial effects of female genital mutilation today. Unfortunately, I'm unable to be in class to give you this presentation. My daughter has croup, so I will be giving this presentation from home via my cell phone. I'd like to start out my presentation with something more light, and that is the global efforts to abolish female genital mutilation. There is a lot of outreach to abolish it altogether. As a matter of fact, February 6th, a week away, is International Day Against Female Genital Mutilation. So after this presentation, maybe if you guys at least take pause on the 6th and realize that this is a very real issue that affects millions of women and girls. Now, my next slide, I'm going to show you a brief video clip of the actual procedure being done. I have this disclaimer up because it's emotionally heart-wrenching, and to be honest with you, I have found myself in tears just gathering this data for this presentation and editing this video just to minimize a small clip of it. So we'll take pause. If there's any of you who don't want to see this or can't handle the violence or the nudity of this procedure, then please step out of the room and we'll continue. This clip isn't very long, so Professor, if we want to pause this and anybody would like to step out. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and proceed and keep this moving. Okay. Again, this is a very short clip. Sorry, it's not working. There we go. I'm going to pass at watching it because I've already watched this a few times. Oh, okay. I think that's enough. I certainly can't do any more of it. So I'm sorry, let me get back to my presentation here. My apologies. All right. Now, having actually viewed what these little girls endure, now let's talk about the psychological effects. You can imagine that a traumatic situation like that is going to lie deep-rooted into a young lady. There's going to be psychological disturbances, you know, throughout childhood. Could be anger outbursts, resentment, just deep-seated lying issues. Sleeping disorders, eating disorders, you know, feelings of incompleteness. Basically, a lot of research has suggested that the emotional responses of these young women who undergo female genital mutilation is quite similar to that of a rape victim. You know, the anxiety, the depression, the loss of trust, irritability, you know, quite often very real post-traumatic stress syndrome disorder. So, you know, these young girls, it's a social norm, so they don't have really an outlet. They don't have anybody to go to. There's no support system in place for them. A lot of these girls are going to have to suffer alone, you know, and the mothers are the ones who are directly responsible for arranging these procedures. They lead to just lifelong pain, deficiencies, psychological issues, education interferences. Let's see here. And, I'll tell you just a quick interview that I read from a survivor. But she was a young girl. I want to say she was 7, and her parents told her that she was going away to her uncle's in, I think it was the capital. So she was going away for a holiday. If she did well in school, had a good report card, they were going to send her on holiday in the summer. And she was so excited. That's all she could talk about. There were nights she couldn't sleep. She was so excited. And it's like a kid going to Disneyland for whatever reason. This holiday to see her uncle was all she looked forward to. So she did great in school. She got her report card and was going off to holiday. Well, her aunts picked her up, and they were supposed to be going to the park, according to this young lady. And they ended up going to a medical center, and she remembers asking her aunts, why are we going to this medical center? We're supposed to be going to the park. And they're like, oh, we have a sick friend here. We're just going to go see them. Basically, the bottom line is that these grown women, her aunts, her family, they're supposed to protect her. They took her into this medical clinic. It really wasn't really a medical clinic, but they took her into this facility, and they held her down, and this woman came in the room and performed female genital mutilation. She screamed and she cried. There was no anesthesia. There was no warning. They lied until the very moment it was being cut, and they said this would have to happen at some point in your life, so better now. This little girl, she's now a woman, a young woman, and she's married, but she explained how the whole summer trip she just sat there. She didn't want to play. She didn't want to eat. Very real trauma. Long story short, she's married now, and due to this procedure, there's pain involved, as my other group members have covered, but she also has the psychosexual effects of this procedure, and she avoids intimacy with her husband. She has no sexual desire. He wants to be intimate and have a husband-wife relationship, and she makes things up and she avoids it at all costs. So, she reports not enjoying sex, that, she doesn't achieve orgasm, and she just wants nothing to do with it. And she's come to the realization that she may lose her husband. It's horrifying, but, it's a reality that she has acknowledged due to this procedure specifically. The consequences are lifelong, and I hope that this presentation can bring some awareness to us in this classroom. I'm sure most of which don't know anybody, or doesn't have a direct being affected by this this procedure, but millions of women and children are being affected by female genital mutilation, and it needs to stop. So that is my presentation. I've covered the psychological and psychosexual effects of female genital mutilation, and I'm not there to take questions, which, I wrote my paper on this topic as well, so any of you could email me, but I know it's not the same. Anyhow, let's do a little pop quiz though, since I can't take in any questions. Let's test your female genital mutilation knowledge. So, which type of female genital mutilation is the most severe? Type 1, type 2, type 3, or type 4? That's right. Type 3 is the most severe. And then, what date is designated as the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation? We just talked about it. February 6th, a week away. let's all acknowledge the need for this to end on February 6th, as well as every other day, to be honest. And last question, what other cultural tradition has been compared to female genital mutilation in regards to social norms and its practice was successfully abandoned in one generation? You know what, this is kind of an unfair question, to be honest with you, because I had the slide up, but I didn't really touch on it. But the point of it is that this other cultural tradition, you know, through the fact that it wasn't globally recognized, it wasn't required by religion, plus the fact that there were consequences, catastrophic physiological, psychological consequences, and then when people spoke out about it to put an end to it, those three factors abolished it within one generation, and that cultural tradition was foot binding. So I hope that you've enjoyed our presentation. I'm sorry I couldn't have been there. It's been a great class. Bye, you guys. I'd ask any questions, but all right, bye.